To this question, though, talk about Grealish being the biggest flop in history. Look, I think Lukaku had that title because it was nearly 100 million and the relationship, the way he behaved. But Jack Grealish is now, we're now 9 games into his second season. He's got the most prolific goal scorer that City have ever had, pound for pound, nine games in. So he's got an absolute machine to pass to. He's got the best system in English football around him, the best manager in the country supporting him. He looks again, he passes the eye test every game. He's little feet rolling over the ball, little touches there, little passes, little flick of the foot. It looks good. But Jack Grealish, for me, watching the game, does almost nothing in every single match I watch him in. And my original prediction for him is coming true. I think a free spirit like him is wasted in such a regimented system under Pep Guardiola. He needs to be given license to roam free and kind of do what he wants. But Pep Guardiola does not allow that.
Yeah, exactly. I think the reason it's that part of it is because we've seen what Jack can do. We've seen the price tag, and then we've seen like the GA return. And unfortunately, in a Pep system, unless in this case you're Haaland, rare case over Pep's tenure, unless you're one of these superstar players, you're molded to fit the team as you're playing for the greater good of the collective. So as much as, Grealish plays, in my opinion, he seems much better in that kind of free-spirited role that Terry talks about. He's much more expressive. It's kind of the football that we want to see, that kind of exciting football.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen in a Pep team. I just don't see where that comes into it. Now, could he be more involved and be not necessarily a De Bruyne, but have that kind of impact on a game? Yes, I think he can still do that in those kind of systems, but he's not going to be the same Jack from Aston Villa. And that's your original club, KJ. So
don't do me like that.
Don't, on what you think.
Don't,
with that thick Brummy accent.
Don't do me like that. My Brummy accent is not that thick. Thank you very much. But nah, I hate this conversation because I love it. I love Jack Grealish, like I honestly do. Obviously, one of my guys and that, you know what I'm saying? My Brummy bro. You know what I mean? My Brummy bro. He is not adapting as well as I thought. He is technically a very, very good footballer. No one can deny that. But second season under Pep, you can't even say Pep tax now. You know what I mean? And towards the ends of last season, you start to see glimpses of potentially this could be the Jack Grealish we've been waiting to see at Man City. Like he even said in an interview, I've started to understand of what Pep wants of me. But now we're back to square one. And it's like, what does he go from here? And he's not a system player. It sounds weird because every player is a system player. But like, he's a player you build around. And when you've got a manager like Pep, who don't care who you are, you fit in or you don't. He needs, it's not even like a big fish in a small pond kind of thing. I don't think it's the pressure of playing for Man City that's hindering him. I genuinely just think he does not necessarily suit what. So if you're
Pep, because you've obviously seen Pep's not an idiot. Obviously, he's seen him at Aston Villa, and he's seen how I can fit him into my system. And we've already seen it was never going to be like for like. If you're Pep and you're seeing that kind of expressive Grealish, and I know you're not Pep, but give me your kind of thoughts on how do you put him in a Pep system in Man City and get the best out of him, and what is the best out of him in this system?
Right now would be back up to Kevin De Bruyne. Like that's the only place I could really see him working. Where is in you got two midfielders beside him who can keep the ball and do the hard work for you. You are able to roam around, and again, it's not like he can't cross either. It's obviously not good as Kevin De Bruyne crossing, but you can go to find those half spaces in the final third and put those crosses in, put those balls through. You can then roam centrally. You can roam to the left as well. That's the only place I can see him. But then your competition is Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm sorry. Kevin De Bruyne right now is indispensable. Like you don't replace him for no one. You know what I mean? So that's the position that Jack's in. Is either you adapt on the left-hand side or you become back up to someone else.
Absolutely. But the thing is, people keep saying you can't judge him on goals or assists, but you absolutely can. Okay. So we already know I haven't even looked at Raheem Sterling's performances when he was at City on that left-hand side. He was a consistent performer. a consistent game winner, and a consistent creator. The best attackers, and that's what Grealish is, an attacker, in the history of the Premier League, the best attackers in the history of football, whether they pass your eye test or not, scored goals or created goals or did both. People always go, oh, no one cared about Ronaldinho's stats. Well, that's because we all knew he was scoring and creating goals on a very...
Stats are very insane.
They are, the people that you say we never cared about their stats, that's just because they were not readily available on websites and on apps when those people were in their pomps. But we saw them doing it. I know Jack Grealish isn't creating and scoring goals because I can see he's not creating and scoring it. The only reason that it's more protruded now is because you look at it and go, oh my God, he's been at the club. He's played 45 games for the club and he's created and scored 10 goals. When you then start to look at other people, go, it's not all about stats. Players don't get massive stats. KDB in 316 games, 87 goals, 127 assists. Bernardo Silva in 260 games, 50 goals, 53 assists. Phil Foden in the early stage of his career, okay, 178 games, and a lot of those have been late substitutes as well. He's only actually played around 10,000 minutes so far, 47 goals and 35 assists. So when you start looking at these players, their numbers are all in and around the 45 to 50% plus margin for games they've played, and actually in the 60-70% margin in terms of minutes played. Jack Grealish is sitting there at between 15 and 20%. So his outputs against other attacking players in his team, he's producing somewhere between 50 to 80% less goals, is in terms of creating them and scoring them, than everybody else playing in those attacking roles for Man City. So this isn't a system issue. This is a Jack Grealish issue. Every other attacking player in that team is scoring and assisting and creating. He isn't. Jack Grealish is getting a pop. People say, oh, he's involved in the build-up and involved in this. So are all of them. They're all involved in the build-up. They're all involved in the creativity, but they're also scoring and assisting. He just so far hasn't been good enough. And I just think, and I always felt, he doesn't suit a regimented system. I think he needs the freedom of the park, like he had at Aston Villa, to be able to be his very best. Because right now, he is the biggest flop in football ever. £100 million, and he's created and scored 10 goals in over a year. That's shocking.
It's
shocking.
I love Jack, but when you think about upstairs, you know what I mean? I think Pep might be overloading him a bit too much.
Wrong, but no one's home.
Yeah, not necessarily that directly, but like he's overthinking what he has to do, I think, at Man City.
So what does Pep do in this
Pep
situation?
Drop him. Like,
you think Pep will?
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's shown that he will. Like he don't really care about price tag. If you're not playing well for Pep, you're not playing well for Pep. There's only very few players you can say he played for. He dropped Aguero when he came. He don't care.
Yeah,
so,
but by the way, Mahrez 197 games for City, 63 goals, 46 assists. Another player on like a 50% goal contributions to game ratio. And again, they rotate a lot. This is what people say, oh, well, he can't help it. He rotated a lot. Then why is everybody else? Why are all the other attackers scoring and assisting, and he isn't?
Yeah, even Alvarez looks so much better in this team than him. And you see, I'm trying to find.
No, just stop protecting him because he's from Birmingham.
No. Listen. I really like Jack. He's just not fitting into Man City. And I feel like if he was in, maybe when he was linked to United, when Ollie was there, that might have been a move for him. Maybe when he was when Chelsea was looking for a wide creator, he could have been that guy. Man City is just, it's just not